I'm alive to the procedures for recall of Parliament, but also alive to the powers of the Speaker. I'm also alive to the powers of Parliament. So I did write to the Speaker asking of him to consider an early recall of Parliament other than the date elected of 27th, because the country is in a crisis, and a crisis of the magnitude that has capacity to cripple the entire economy. And while that is happening, key government players are speaking in tongues, and none of them is communicating in a manner that can reassure the people of Uganda that tomorrow is going to be better. So in the circumstances, I considered that the members of Parliament who represent the people should be able to listen in on the options government has in the interim, and to be able to input and also ask particular questions as Parliament before we plunge further into a depression. If you do understand the nature of petroleum prices and their repercussions, their linkage with the entire economy, before you know it, the country-wide consumer prices can sink into a depression with unemployment. Suddenly, what the economists prefer to call stagflation is bad for an economy that is trying to recover from the ravages of COVID. So Parliament needs to immediately convene and be briefed initially on what government is doing, and also make an input, because I know members of Parliament coming from various places must be sharing into the challenges their constituents are confronting on a daily basis. Parents are not able to take their children to school because of the cost of transport. I heard the Prime Minister advising motorists to not to buy fuel from those petrol stations that are charging highly. And I wanted the Prime Minister to advise motorists where they can find that cheap fuel supplied by government from its reserves, before she can advise the country to ignore the high prices at petrol stations. In the fact that government has no reserves, the Prime Minister is indictable in simply speaking out of turn without being particular. Can she then announce the actual price if she's telling citizens to ignore those petrol stations that are charging them highly? Can she announce the official government price for petroleum products? Short of that, I can say without fear of contradiction that the Prime Minister, with due respect, is clueless on what is going on in the country, and therefore Parliament probably would be the better platform for her to pick advice and go and act responsibly. It's negligence of the highest order for government and government officials, for each to speak out of turn. I am aware that part of the problem emanates from the red tape at the border. You have UNRWA weighing your trucks. You have URA taxing fuel. You have National Bureau of Standards marking the petroleum products. You have Ministry of Health testing the drivers. So all these really require some level of imagination when a country is facing a crisis. And I'm shocked that the entire regime and its network has no imagination on how to deal with this. So those and more are the reasons why I believe Parliament should sit immediately and have this addressed by members of Parliament on behalf of their people.
Just one rejoin that.